It is not in fact Monday, but I hope you are having a lovely Friday, which is when I hope to post this. So hopefully I didn't put a little asterisk of what day it actually is. But yeah, if you're watching on the day that this video will upload, I hope you had a very lovely week. It went by fast for you and you can enjoy the weekend now. But yeah, I'm back for part 2, talking about romance and slice of life manga that I just hadn't picked up. So these will be older series. A couple are just from last year, but the rest are older than that, I believe. If you haven't checked out my Monday's video on newer romance and slice of life manga first volumes, then I do encourage you to go do that. But yeah, overall, I'd say these were also a pretty good batch. However, I'll just start with the one that I personally thought kind of the weakest and the one I'm most on the fence about continuing. So that would be the Dragon Knight's Beloved. So cover, right? Charming, cute. We have dragons, we have a romance fantasy edge, and the story itself is about this young girl, Melissa, a maid in training, who just has a way with dragons and is suddenly approached by Commander Hubert, who had been living and working as a member of the Dragon Knights where she resided. But now she's thinking, you know, she's coming of age, she's turning 16, which one of my nitpicks is she's a bit young. But when he hears this, it just so happens that his older brother has sadly passed, and he now has to leave the Dragon Knights and go back and become the head of his, noble house, because he's like a noble, and in an interesting house where wild dragons roam free. So he invites Melissa to join him and be a maid at his house, but also to try and scare away his brother's fiance, who now wants to be Hubert's fiance, because that's not weird at all. To pretend to be his fiance on top of it. So yeah, I really do like fake dating, as you'll see in my next romance read as well. But I like that setup as like, can you just pretend to be my girlfriend? I don't know why I like it. But usually it leads to genuine feelings and yada yada yada. But yeah, so overall it was a quick and easy read. It's obviously light on the romance. Whether Commander Hubert actually has some interest and some romantic feelings, which I think is kind of ick when he is shown carrying her. It's fiction, it's fine, but I don't know, I don't like that dynamic even in fiction a lot of times. But yeah, we don't know though if he does have genuine feelings for her yet, and she's just totally like, dragons, all right, I'm good, because she really loves dragons. And I really love dragons. And so I was like excited for it, but it just fell flat for me, honestly. And I think majorly the like number one reason, and this is the reason most times, like 90% of the time, I won't continue a romance or be as invested in a romance series, is I just didn't care for the protagonist. I thought she was boring. Why you gotta be so boring? Like, she's nice. She likes dragons. What the hell else? I don't know. There's just no personality. There's no range to her character. It is just, nice girl, gonna be maid. I feel uncomfortable pretending to be your fiance, but sure, I'll just go along with it, girl. I know some people are fine with it. It's like whatever, and I'm nitpicking in this. But personally, my personal preference is for a girl with a little bit more emotional range to her. Like, get annoyed at him, or be sad by something hurtful said to you, or I don't know, like, I mean, she does cry, but it's like at his expense or something. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't, the point is, she's boring, and I'm torn between continuing the series. If you have read this series, do let me know your thoughts below. Does she, you know, develop? I know she's young, you know, so that's like one of those things where she could get more nuanced. She could like come into her own and stuff. Yeah, but it's probably number one reason why I drop romance is because she bores me. If the main protagonist is boring, why would I want to read about your love romance life? Like, yeah, but I would love to hear your opinions if you have read it, whether you enjoy the series, whether you think I'll enjoy the series, all that good stuff. But yeah, needless to say, this was my lowest rated manga. I will give them ratings like I did in the part one, the last video I did. But yeah, I'd have to say this one was like 7.5 out of 10. It's not egregious by any means. You know why, she's boring. So yeah, moving on. This time I kind of started with the romance categories instead of the slice of life. But yeah, it's just worked out that way. And we're going to finish up the romance specific section with my favorite romance of this video, 365 Days to the Wedding. So this one is definitely a slow burn romance. And it is also a fake dating, fake going to be married situation in which these two both work for the same company, a travel agency, and that agency has just opened up a new location, a new office in Siberia, Russia. And they're gonna send one lucky member there from this office branch. And these two are just kind of like, hell no, I don't really wanna move. However, their manager does say that bachelors and bachelorettes, you know, all the single ladies, sorry, all the single people will be up for this first and foremost. Because like, if you don't have attachments here, then see you later. But yeah, so they're both afraid of getting picked. He's thinking of quitting because he has this stray cat that he had just picked up, and it's not wanting to abandon the cat. The cat's just starting to trust him. It's cute. I love the cat, but you know, I love cats. So any series that includes one is it's like an added bonus. But yeah, so these two awkward people, they don't really know each other that well, and just randomly, like, she offers this idea to him, like, hey, what if we pretend that we're gonna get married, and then they won't send us, and then we can just kind of like let it go, and people will forget. But people make a lot more of a big deal about them getting married than they initially thought, so they kind of have to like pivot and put more energy and effort into this like lie, essentially. And yeah, so it's very much focused on that in this first volume, so we don't get a lot of their actual like little moments and stuff between them, because they are essentially strangers. They're co-workers, but they barely know each other. And so it's definitely giving slow burn. It's giving, these kids are so awkward. It's gonna take a while for them to realize they have feelings for each other, but you just know, you know, it's a romance, god damn it. Like, I'm not spoiling anything, and if I am, then I'm sorry. But yeah, I just think it's like it was a very comforting read for me. Like, it was just cute and soft. And I like the characters. They're a little, like I said, they're a bit different, but I like that. They're charming. She really likes maps and cartography, and you know, he has his little obsession with his kitty, and yeah, I don't know, they're dorks, and I feel like they will do, you know, be that trope of like completing each other, fitting the puzzle pieces perfectly together. You know, yeah, that's like the vibe they give off. And we get like this smallest hint of like her having like a emotional reaction of like her heart racing at like one moment near the end, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna take a while, but I kind of am down for the ride. Not gonna lie. And yeah, another thing, just like a detail I really love about this series is that each cover features a different kind of like weddings around the world kind of theme. But just like, they're all very distinct, they're all very interesting to look at, and I love that little detail, and I really love these guys, and yeah, I'm excited to see where they go next. Like I said, if you just want like a slice of life, more cozy, silly moments with these two introverts navigating this fake getting married situation they put themselves in, I think it's a fun time, an enjoyable time. So yeah, I'm excited. Rating, I would give this one like a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know why I'm wishy-washier today than last time, but yeah. Moving on to the slice of life. We'll start with the one that could have a romantic aspect to it as it goes on. So like kind of segue like I try to do, but yeah, it's definitely vibing more like friendship. I don't know why I did double B signs up for friendship forever so far, so we'll see. But that is Days on Fez. So like I said, Bizarre Individual recommended me this series, or you know, to pick up the first volume anyway. He said he really enjoyed it, and he has a YouTube and an Instagram if you want to go follow him. But yeah, so this is just about these couple of people that really like music, and they end up going to some festivals. There's like two pairs and they intersect. One of the pairs are two high school girls, Kanade, who's never been to a music festival before, but when her friend Otoha has some tickets available that her brother gave her, she ends up talking her into coming with her, and Kanade ends up really enjoying herself and really loving the vibe of the music festivals. And then we have the other pair, which is Toha's brother and his employee, who make up like this it's a funny friendship that me and Bizarre both ship them. Like, yeah, I mean, I could ship the girls too. Like, they're cute. They're like, they have a really adorable friendship as well. But the boys for sure, I'm like, oh my God, can you make it gay for me, please? Please make it gay. But anyway, that's my desires. Like transposed onto this, but it is very much a slice of life centered around these music festivals and taking place in summer as of right now. And they just entered summer vacation, the girls, and going to this big summer festival, and yeah, so it's very much a vibe for the season. And I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it. I love music, don't get me wrong, but I've never been a huge festival goer. People kind of look at me weird because I think it's a big thing that people like to do, like around where I live and in general. And I'm like, that's just not where I like to spend my money because it can be quite pricey. But if someone offered me a ticket, I'd for sure go. Like, it is a fun time. I love live music. It's just, yeah, it's just not like a passion of mine because like I spend a lot of money on this passion, as you can see, and travel. I love travel. But like, yeah, so that eats up away of a lot of my hobby assorted fun times money. So but I was really pleasantly surprised. In the beginning, I will say, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yeah, it's not for me. But I do think the brother and the coworker definitely made me like it more. They are goofy as all hell as well. I love their characters individually too, not just, you know, to ship them. But I like the brother OCD about their like camp setup situations at the festivals, and he makes me giggle. And then his employee, the other half of the duo, is just so like on the brink, on the edge. A college student, but it's nearing the end and he doesn't know what the frick he's gonna do with the rest of his life. So he's entering existential crisis mode, and it is so much fun to watch and to read about, honestly. As someone who vividly remembers being there and some days still feels like I am there, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Oh my God. Like, you know, so it was relatable. and it was funny as hell. So yeah, they really make this this first volume for me and totally made me want to keep reading for sure. Like, I need more of them in my life. So thank you, Bazaar, for this recommendation. And yeah, if that like sounds like a fun slice of life vibe for you, I definitely think you will enjoy it. I'll give it a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's a good time. It's good vibes, good characters, funny, nice atmosphere overall. Moving on to another one I picked up totally for the summertime vibes, and that was Yotsuba. So it's not like I haven't seen her around. I am very familiar. Seen these mangas for a long time, and I just never picked it up. One being, I never liked slice of life. My tastes are changing. I recognize that, and I like that. Like, it's nice to get more into a new genre. And I also don't this is gonna sound so mean. I don't love kids as just full stop. No, I'm kidding. But I don't love kids as my like focal point in manga, as like my protagonists a lot of times. Like just gonna rip the band-aid off. Kids are annoying, whether it's in manga form or in real life. Like, I like kids, I do. Like, I sometimes would prefer to talk to them than people my own age, especially older ones sometimes. So I kept seeing it on my Instagram feed. I kept seeing people gushing about how adorable the series is, how it's just such a fun read, and I gave in. I gave in to the pressure. I gave into this adorable cover. Like, the sunflowers, man. The sunflowers are so cute, and she is cute. Like, I have to give it to her. But the summer vibes, I was like, it's a good time. It's a good time to pick it up because it's summertime. And I have to say, I enjoyed it overall. Like, I really did. Like, I was afraid I wasn't. And there were some points that they were trying to be funny that I was just kind of like, cringe. Like, okay, this kid is annoying. Like, I think one of like the good things I could point out, like a good moment in this, is that she accidentally gets locked in the bathroom and then climbs out the window, and then you see everyone else get accidentally locked in the bathroom and then climb out the window. I thought that was a great bit. But then there's other bits that just didn't, work for me or something. And like, I think that's with all comedy type manga, and being comedy centric and slice of life, it's a lot to ask to deliver to everyone's preferences, be a hit for everyone. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, not gonna lie. Like, overall, she's interesting and cute most of the time, rather than annoying, though sometimes. And she's very naive, and there is a slight mystery element of how this weird vagabond scruffy looking dude ended up with her in the first place. Because by the end, we find out Yotsuba is not his biological daughter, and that she's actually like an orphan that he like adopted or something. But it's very vague how he says it. And he says that, he picked her up. Essentially, that's how he like words it. He picked her up because she was interesting to him. Like, I don't know. It sounded really weird, like a little puppy or something. You pick, like, I found a stray dog, so I took it in. Like, this is a whole ass human kid. Like, I don't know. But and he points out how like nothing can kind of get this kid down. She always finds joy in things, and I do think that that's her charm, and that's the thing that will probably keep me getting this series. I think slowly, like I'll put it on wish lists, and I'll like, add it to my cart here and there. But I don't think it's going to be like I need more of this, because it's very episodic, slice of life, just about this young girl moving to a new town and exploring it, meeting her neighbors. I'm sure those neighbors will be a huge element, because they already became a pretty big element in this first volume, as well as some other side characters I'm sure will make regular appearances as it goes on. But it's formulaic. You know what you're gonna expect, but it's one of those ones that's nice to pick up on a rainy day when you need a little cozy, kind of silly lighthearted read so far. Could it change? For sure. Could it have more depth for it? Sure. It's definitely this little sprinkling of intrigue at the end that makes me think it could develop into more. Who's to say? But for right now anyway, it's a very cute slice of life that had some good funny moments. Yeah, I think overall I could really enjoy it. So I'd give it a 8 out of 10. Solid, fun time. If you've read on, let me know what you think of this series. I know it has a lot of fans. So yeah, I'm curious to hear people's thoughts on it, and just, you know, no spoilers. I always ask that. I don't like being spoiled. And yeah, on to the last one. Last up in the slice of life category, we have My Dog is a Death God. Yeah, just the premise intrigued me. I've always, I should say, liked me a slice of life that's more philosophical, deeper, has an interesting element to it, other than just being my everyday life. You know, that's the thing that's changed, is that now I'm finding I'm more enjoying the everyday kind of lives that, yeah, I don't know. But a slice of life that has a fantasy component, supernatural component, like this one, was already definitely up my alley. So this god of death, which I just need to point out, is very hunkalicious. He's a hottie McHot stuff. I wish I could have filmed my reaction as I saw him and read and was like, if that's the god that meets me at the end, I'm good. I'm good to go. They gotta make him so hot. Why? But I like it. I liked it. So unhinged rant about the death god's appearance over, and back to the summary. So this god of death is finding that humans are having too much worldly attachments and are not just crossing over. And so he's having, you know, kind of like, it's like his job. So he's like getting a bad performance review on how many souls are not crossing over for him. And he's like, hey, it's not my fault. Modern day people, they have too many dang attachments. We need to intervene while they're still alive. So the boss is, you know, just like, sounds like a plan. Go on down there. And he's like, what? Wait, what? So yeah, they send him to Earth and he wakes up in the body of a dog. And he's taken in by this girl and named Leo. So Leo, the dog, ends up entering the Okanoe hospital, which is like a hospice. So it's end of life care. So this is where he wanted to be. This is like the end of the road for everyone, and he's going to try and soothe their resentments, their attachments, their desires, so that hopefully when they actually pass, that they can go and not linger in the world as ghosts, essentially, is like what we know them as. But yeah, so this whole volume pretty much is just Leo getting to that hospice, and immediately he starts trying to help this one particular guy. We get the guy's whole history, like his whole past, and the like trauma that he experienced that is making his soul rot, essentially. Like the death god Leo, death god dog, can like smell the rot on him, which means like then he won't cross over. So he's trying to like cure that rot, and he's going through his memories to try and like sort it out. So I think that's all very interesting, and like it is kind of a shame it's so like, I mean, it's not a terribly thin volume, but it's pretty thin, and we don't even get the resolution to this very first guy that Leo, the death god, is helping by the end of this volume. It kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, which sucks. I'm like, well, what happened? I want to know. I want to get that satisfactory ending of like, does he, you know, come to terms? Does he feel relief? Does he accept it and move on when, you know, then the end comes, type of thing? It's very morbid, obviously. I mean, you could tell by the title, and we're dealing with people who are dying. But it is just intriguing enough to keep me very much like that, and the sexy death god. It's making me it doesn't bother me, but I could understand where it might be like too much of a heavy subject matter for certain people. But like, yeah, overall, I think it's handled well. It's just that it's a shame that Volume 2 is supposed to be coming out this year. Volume 1 came out last year, so that's a pretty big, like a year between volumes, which I hate when that happens. Yeah, and I don't know how long this series is. Maybe it's done in 2 volumes. I don't know. It would kind of be, I think, a shame if it was. I find people's like lives and attachments and ways of thinking and pasts very interesting, even like fictionalized ones. And overall, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. I technically gave it a 5 out of 5 in my Instagram little reviews, but I'm gonna nitpick because of that ending and how it doesn't resolve. It's just like, yeah, I guess partially you'd want people to read on, but overall, I think it's just a lot better of a first volume if you resolved that first one and then gave you a taste of the next situation, person, whatever that Leo encounters as your ending chapter, ending note, you know, to keep you reading on. So that's like a personal nitpick for me. But yeah, I also just hate a cliffhanger. I mean, who doesn't? Like, who loves a cliffhanger? Like, I don't think anyone does. Like, it's just, they're annoying. I was gonna read on anyway. You don't have to tease me like this. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. It's one of the more interesting slice of life concept-wise. And yeah, that makes me always intrigued to read more. So yeah, that's the last review. And please let me know in the comments if you've read any of them, what you think of them, and if you enjoyed them, or if you read on in these series. I think you could read on in most of these series other than The Death God, since it doesn't come out till this year, though. You could read online. I do sometimes when I'm that intrigued. The cliffhanger wasn't enough for me to go online and be like, all right, I need to know what happens next. But it's just enough to annoy me. And as always, if you could, please subscribe if you haven't already. Push the like button, turn on notifications, all that jazz. Thanks so much for watching. Next week's Monday video will be my updated room tour video, so I hope you enjoy. There's just too many volumes of manga to share with you all, but hopefully it won't be too long. And yeah, until then, bye!